Hello everyone, my name is Peter Schaknat and I am the Managing Director of Schaknat Electronic GmbH, and today we're optimizing a new Scania 500S super engine. We have a beautiful brand new scanner at our test bench. Today we're going to do a different kind of video. We'll split the video into part 1 and part 2. In the first part, we'll go into detail about fuel consumption. In the second part, we'll be optimizing the engine and transmission, focusing on fuel efficiency. In the first part, it's important to address something you're always interested in. How much fuel does a truck like this actually consume? So let's get started now. This is the Scania 500S, the new super engine with 2 overhead camshafts and a continuous cylinder head. So this is already the brand new engine, the Euro 6e, with the new G33 transmission. With this overdrive transmission, it features the 13th gear. That's the sailing gear. A lot of customers always ask me what they should buy right now and what the current trucks actually consume fuel. That's why we thought we'd contribute more in this area as well. The videos, because I think that's also really very interesting for you, especially in an economic situation where fuel prices are still high, where every liter of fuel really counts. So we just take a look at what a truck actually consumes. We'll start the measurement process very simply. We'll drive in the highest gear, depending on whether it's the 12th or 13th. We'll try that out today. We'll look at the displays while we drive a certain measurement route, and then use our Schaknat app to refuel the truck. And while we're on the test bench, we'll drive the same measurement route. That way we actually have the same conditions. Then it's always easier. We do this using the consumption displays in the cockpit. Everyone can make sense of that. Every driver looks at that every day. Then let's just be surprised by what kind of consumption results we get. Because a lot of customers frequently ask me, what can you actually save? You'll see with our test bench, we can apply a load to the engine. So we can also simulate driving up the Kassel hills. We can also simulate long-distance routes. So I would simply run a test cycle, but to have identical consumption values, so you can see, especially in overdrive, when it's running in 13th gear, that it's really coasting and that you can actually save some fuel even then. To make it easier, we measure at the rear axle. The new scanners have a test bench mode again. That's actually quite good for us, then we don't have that problem. If we're going to do a longer run now, let's see if we can drive 20 to 25 kilometers on the test bench. The steering wheel always has to stay straight. We've now secured it at the back. You can see the tie-down straps at the back again, rated for 5 tons. We actually didn't use that much with this one because we're not driving with that much load. With 2.5 to 3 tons, the axle is secured underneath so that we have good traction. As you've already seen, our new exhaust extraction system. I'll show it to you really quickly. You can see it from up here now. I already mentioned this in the last video. It's pretty cool. Over here on this side, we now have the exhaust system, including the particulate filter and everything else. So you can actually see the outlet down here. You can see it with our 25mm diameter. It really pulls 2 cubic meters per second. It can extract exhaust, goes up here and then out the front. Basically, it exits through the fan. So it really does a good job sucking everything away. That's great because now we can finally do measurements with closed gates. It's taken long enough. So I just say, let's get started now. I've now unlocked the speed, the top speed, so we can measure the gear directly and take a look at the overdrive to see what speeds we're actually getting. We'll now do the initial measurement, and that's purely about fuel consumption. In the second part, we'll measure the power. We'll do that in the second step. Now let's take a look at the initial measurement. Regarding fuel consumption, someone else will handle that now, and then we'll just meet up again inside the truck. The other person, my colleague, has already started the measurement. Just a quick word about the measurement procedure. What we've done now is basically we've set the test bench to apply the brake at 10%. That's roughly equivalent to about 380 to 400 Newton meters counter torque. So the engine can easily handle the brake. You can imagine it as if you were driving a tractor unit with a trailer, just as usual. A 4x2 tractor unit driving with about 20 tons of payload. We're now driving exactly 6 kilometers, always at the same speed at 87 kilometers per hour. We'll do this now in the original condition, then look at the average fuel consumption, and then we'll go ahead, optimize the vehicle and drive the same route again. The great thing about the test bench is that I can always simulate exactly the same load. So it's really always exactly the same. This way, I really have identical measurement conditions, and that's why I can always say it clearly, because people always ask, when I'm only driving long distance, does it actually make a difference in fuel consumption if I only have a temperature of 87? For example, if I drive now, does it actually make a difference? We're now in 12th gear, so not in overdrive, to also show what the engine can actually do. By looking at the RPM, we now have an RPM of just under 1,100 revolutions. That's a nice RPM range where the engine is efficient. This way you can see exactly on the display what our average consumption is. That's 6 kilometers. 6 kilometers. We have an average consumption of approximately 21.9 liters. Now we'll let it coast. So 21.9 liters, you saw that just now. So as you saw, exactly 6 kilometers still took almost 4 minutes. So it's still a long-term load for the eddy current brake, let's say. 400 Newton meters isn't a huge amount, of course, just to get these short-term results. That's why I'm doing several tests, but I'd say this is how it is on the highway. This is actually what most people experience between 85 and 88 kilometers per hour. Simply use 12th gear, which is direct gear, when you are going slightly uphill. Just to see that for comparison. You can definitely see it, even under this really light load, super engines can still be a lot of fun. So 21.9 liters, what we just had, that's really an incredible consumption, even in stock condition. The engine also runs super smoothly, you really have to say. Now we're going to reflash it to Eco mode, the Eco variant, using our app. Andre's going to do that right now. After that, we'll do the same procedure again and have a direct comparison to see what can be saved there as well. I'm really curious myself to see what the result will be when running in parallel, but let's just wait and see. Now we're going to reflash it with the app, plug the adapter back into the OBD port. You know, down there on a Scania, that's where the connector is. It lights up blue, so now the other person can connect. Now we'll quickly flash the Eco optimization. That's also the cool thing about the app. It's how we always develop things. We can reprogram directly online and then check the baseline values on the test bench. That's actually a really nice feature. Engine control unit, it's selected. Then Eco optimization. We'll do the same thing for the performance measurement so you can clearly see the before and after. We'll also take a closer look at the counterpart to the consumption optimization in terms of performance in order to see and better understand what actually changes in torque, so you really have a direct and clear comparison of what it actually delivers. We've finished flashing now, and now the other one is going to set the transmission to Eco as well. That's also always really important so that they shift very smoothly without any problems. As you saw, it goes pretty quickly. Then we can already head back and we'll immediately do the initial fuel measurement again. So as you can see here, now we're going to repeat the same procedure. We're applying the brake now to 10%. The other one is now pressing against it with his foot. You can see it. Now we have just about 400 Newton meters of torque again. All right, I'm starting now, okay? Exactly, I'm driving at 87 again. So now he's starting the measurement again. Now we're driving exactly 6 kilometers again. That's the same again. It's the same principle again now. Again, about 20 tons of payload. With the trailer and everything included, you could say, relatively speaking. Calculated by the load, we're between 30 and 33 tons, which is what the truck actually consumes. because the load always stays the same, you can also see when we optimize the engines, so when we optimize fuel consumption, what it actually delivers in the same ratio. Of course, it is always the case that every revolution needs a fill. Our optimization naturally works even better when driving with heavier weights, especially when you are simply carrying more. Overall, in terms of shifting and load, you can of course relax even more because every revolution always needs a fill. And by shifting up earlier, you also save more fuel. But today we just wanted to show you what actually happens here, what the difference is. So we're almost at the end of the measurement now. Now I'm curious. Let's switch over, Andre. And 20.1, 20.2. Now you can go to neutral, so you guys just take your time. You can see awesome results, so wait, I have to quickly end the measurement, otherwise the brake will close quickly now, so you saw it yourselves. 20.1 liters, Rene, you filmed it too, so really an awesome result. I honestly didn't expect it to be this good because we were actually driving under the same load. You saw it, 10% measurement, 400 Newton meters, so as I said, I'm impressed, I'm really impressed myself. We've already done a lot of super engines and all the customers have said that the super goes down in fuel consumption. You saw it now, from 21.9 liters at 6 kilometers, 10% load with 400 Newton meters, then a consumption of 20.1 liters. That's a saving of 1.8 liters. So that's actually perfect. So the fact that we can actually measure this so precisely over a short distance makes me really happy. We've now reached the end of our video about the fuel consumption meter on the Scania 500S super engine. As you saw, we changed the measurement format because we also wanted to make sure, especially with the eddy current brake, to get truly consistent results. So we only drove 6 kilometers this time. We were also always driving for 3 to 4 minutes, as you just saw. But as I said, in terms of the values, it's really awesome. So 1.8 liters over a consistent distance. Honestly, I'm really completely satisfied. That was part 1 of the video. Next week, part 2 will be released. The performance measurement, the initial measurement, and the final measurement, all for this setup, just so you have that as well. If you're interested in this topic, feel free to check out our website at www.schaknat.de. You can also call us personally, send us a WhatsApp message, or write us an email. We're happy to give you personal advice as well. Thank you for watching. See you next week. Take care. Bye.